Okay, so we've all been there, right? That super awkward moment when a name you just heard completely vanishes from your brain. Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into the fascinating science of why that actually happens. You know exactly that I'm talking about. You meet someone new, they say, "Hi, I'm Alex," and you shake their hand thinking, "Nice to meet you," and poof, just like that, the name is gone, vanished into thin air. It's incredibly common, and you're about to find out exactly why.
And here's the really good news. If this happens to you all the time, it is not a personal failing, not at all. Cognitive psychology tells us this has pretty much nothing to do with having a bad memory. In fact, it's all about how your brain is brilliantly, and yeah, sometimes inconveniently, designed to work.
So let's take a look at that awkward moment, but from your brain's point of view. You'll see it's not really a social blender. It's a totally fascinating cognitive process. It turns out there are 5 key psychological reasons that explain why names are so, well, slippery. And once you understand them, it might just change how you think about your own mind. So let's break them down. All right, reason number 1, your brain sees most names as completely random. They're what psychologists call arbitrary labels, basically because they don't have any real connection to information you already have stored away. I mean, think about it. If someone tells you they're a baker, your brain just lights up with connections, right? You think of bread, ovens, that amazing smell. But if they say their name is Robert, what does your brain connect that to? For most of us, nothing. It's just a sound, a piece of random data, which makes it incredibly hard to lock down. Okay, the second reason is huge. It's that your attention is massively divided. When you're meeting someone for the first time, your brain is juggling like a dozen social tasks at once, and just listening is actually a tiny part of the whole operation. Now look at this. This really puts it into perspective. A massive chunk of your brain power is busy worrying about what you're going to say next or how you're coming across. And that leaves this tiny little sliver, just 10%, to actually do the work of hearing, processing, and storing the name. Honestly, the name never really stood a chance. Reason number 3 is so cool, and it goes way, way back in our evolution. Our brains are hardwired to be expert face recognizers. It was a critical survival skill. You know, knowing friend from foe was way more important than knowing what to call them. And this just illustrates the difference perfectly. Your brain literally has a specialized VIP area just for processing faces. They get the red carpet treatment. Names, on the other hand, they get processed just like any other common word. They're basically just a verbal sticky note slapped onto that all-important visual data. So no wonder we remember the face and forget the label. Now for an idea that might seem a little backwards at first. Forgetting a name isn't always a sign of an idle mind. Sometimes it's the exact opposite. It's a sign that your mind is firing on all cylinders, maybe a little too much. This means if you're a person who thinks a lot, whose mind is constantly running a bunch of different thoughts, you're actually more likely to experience this kind of cognitive overload. Your brain is so busy with everything else that it just doesn't have the bandwidth to encode the name. It's like a traffic jam in your head, and the new name gets lost in all that chaos. Our 5th and final reason really gets to the heart of how memory itself works. See, your memory isn't a video recorder. It's more like a massive interconnected web. And to save any new piece of information, your brain has to be able to hook it onto something it already knows. So here's how that super fast filing system works. When you hear a name, your brain does a lightning fast search for a hook. Is there a connection here? Anything? If it fails to find one in a split second, it flags the name as useless random data. And what does the brain do with random data? It tosses it out to save space. It's ruthless. All right, let's pull all this together and look at the bigger picture. This isn't about being forgetful. It's about understanding our brain's internal operating system. So let's recap the whole thing. You forget names because 1, they're basically random labels. 2, your attention is split. 3, your brain is built for faces, not names. 4, your mind might actually be too active. And 5, your memory needs a hook to hang things on. And that's really the big takeaway here. The next time you forget a name, don't think of it as a flaw. Think of it as a design feature. It's just a little glimpse into the incredibly efficient and, yeah, sometimes ruthless way your brain prioritizes information to help you navigate a really complex world. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. If our biology is literally designed to prioritize the person, the face, over the random label we give them, what does that say about what truly matters in human connection? It's something to think about, isn't it?